Please say hello to the second generation Acura TLX A-Spec. For 2021, the TLX has been completely redesigned, and I gotta say, this is a handsome automobile. But here's the thing. It is competing in one of the most stacked and jacked segments there is. The 3 Series, the C-Class, the Audi A4, not to mention 2 recent MotorTrend Car of the Year winners. So the question is, has Acura done enough to allow the TLX not just to compete in, but to dominate one of the toughest segments there is? Let's find out. The TLX has been around since 2014, and while that first generation car was fine, it never set the segment on fire. The trouble was, most of the cars were just better to drive, especially the rear-wheel drive based ones. But even the front-wheel drive based stuff, like the Volvo S60 or the Audi A4, they were better cars. And here's the bad news for Acura. The competition has only grown stronger since then. I mentioned the Germans, but I didn't mention the Alfa Romeo Giulia, that won our Car of the Year award. The Genesis G70, that also won Car of the Year. All these cars, they are all well-engineered, well thought out, great to drive premium sports sedans. What Acura is banking on is the fact that their new design is so strong, it's just gonna lure customers in. Let's take a closer look at the TLX's design. Some cars just got it, and this one has got it in spades. I love nothing more than long design critiques where I point out all the flaws. There's really nothing to point out wrong with this car. Dave Merrick and his design team at Acura, they've just done a fantastic job. Even with tricky stuff, and here's what I mean. You see this shield right there? The radar sensors are behind there, and on a lot of cars, it's just a rectangle. It really stands out. The Acura team, they took the time to design it, and it looks cool. I love the front end of this car. It's strong, it's fierce, it looks athletic, it's just fantastic. Coming down the side, the biggest thing you're gonna notice is that even though the TLX is front-wheel drive based, they've gone out of their way to make it look rear-wheel drive. Well, how do you do that, all right? You put a lot of metal right here. This is known as the dash to axle ratio. It's the amount of metal between the wheel and the door cut. The bigger that is, the more rear-wheel drive a car looks. We interpret it as looking more sporty. They've done a great job. If there is one flaw on the TLX, and this is true of the A-Spec, the wheels are pushed in too much. If I stand here and look down, I can't even see the wheel or tire. I wish they kind of poked out more. But that's it, really. I mean, this design is so good. The line work is good. It just flows. It's aggressive. This C-pillar is practically perfect. Cadillac, take note. This is how you do it. Then you get out back and it just screams high-performance sports sedan. I love the way the rear of the TLX looks. Looks a lot like the BMW 3 Series, in fact. So again, Acura, hats off to you for the design of the TLX. I'm sitting inside of the Acura TLX A-Spec and I really dig this interior. I mean, look at this. It's futuristic, a little Robotech, it's very JDM. For the most part, pretty nice materials. I love the red leather. The dynamic mode switch is right here. It's big, it's where it should be. I've even got a volume knob. Look, it's the shifter out of the Acura NSX. It's also out of the Honda Pilot. It's so sporty. The only thing is, the touchscreen's a little far away. Oh no, it's not a touchscreen. It's a goofy trackpad. That means, like Alexis, makes a lot of weird noises. It's very inaccurate. It's very hard to use. And what a disappointment, because if they just would have put the screen right here, then it could have been a touchscreen. It would have been great. But instead, you've got this. And what's the word I'm looking for? That's right, the word is bogus. Otherwise, what a cool looking interior. Is it as awesome as the exterior? No, but I think it's great. As far as driver comfort goes, it is tight without being cramped. It feels very sporty. It fits the character of the outside of the car. The rear seat is tight, but guess what? The TLX is in a segment that's filled with cars that have tight rear seats. The trunk is a trunk, but again, overall, what a great interior that's just let down by this goofy trackpad. Let's talk performance of the Acura TLX A-Spec. Under the hood, there's a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine that makes 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. which sounds good until you realize that the Alfa Romeo Giulia makes 280 horsepower and 306 pound-feet of torque. So in other words, Acura's launching a brand new product into the segment, yet they're not the most powerful, which is already a bit of a hard sell. Now, all that power goes into a 10-speed automatic transmission that powers either just the front wheels, or if you opt for the super handling all-wheel drive, the rear wheels too. Let's get back to the super handling. It's handling. I would not say it's super handling, especially because there are so many vehicles in the segment that just are better to drive. And it pains me to say this because they've done such a great job with the exterior look of this thing, but it's kind of already an also-ran, dynamically speaking, within the segment. And to me, it's a shame. It's a missed opportunity. As far as fuel economy goes, 21 miles per gallon around town, 29 miles per gallon on the highway. When it comes to safety, the TLX does very good. It's got a 5-star crash rating, and the IIHS has called it a top safety pick plus for 2021. And it comes standard with Acura Watch. What's Acura Watch? It's a whole bunch of standard automatic safety features, lane keeping, blind spot monitoring, all that good stuff. And for the first time ever, there are 3-position airbags up front. What that means is, depending on the severity of an accident, the airbags can deploy a little bit or a lot of it. How much? Okay, the least you can spend on a 2021 Acura TLX is $38,525. However, this one right here, this A-Spec with super handling all-wheel drive and this fantastic blue paint, it slides in just under $48,000, meaning it's virtually the same price as a BMW 330i xDrive. So when it comes to value in the TLX, you gotta ask yourself, how important is great car design to you? If there's one thing I want you to know about the 2021 Acura TLX A-Spec, it's that sports sedan design doesn't get much better than this. It is fantastic. It's also a much better car than the first generation TLX. The problem for Acura is they launched a car into the middle of a very strong segment, not at the top. And I strongly believe you always gotta try and be the best. And sadly, the TLX, it just isn't. I'm not saying it's a bad car or anything like that. It's just that for the same amount of money, there are so many better cars in its segment. So for that reason, we're not recommending that you buy an Acura TLX, which is a pity because just look at it. To check out our latest vehicle rankings, go to motortrend.com/cars.